My name is Peter Paul de Goeij. I'm the Managing Director of the Dutch trade association called NOGA, the Netherlands Online Gambling Association, formerly known as Speelverantwoord. NOGA aspires to achieve and promote a safe, responsible and attractive online gambling offering in the Netherlands. Next to the MD of NOGA, I'm also the founder of Bonem Consulting, an independent IT, telecom and gambling lottery consulting firm. Now, for today, since in the Netherlands at least, we are moving towards autumn. It's rainy, it's windy, and most of the time it's gray, and sometimes even stormy. I thought it would be very apt to use a theme for today's industry update, and it's called October Storm. So worldwide, the storm flag has been raised for the industry, for the gambling industry, and the most recent low is due to the COVID-19 pandemic. H2 gambling is making prognosis that the global gambling gross win for this year will be down from $464 billion last year to $363 billion for this year. So that's a major drop of $100 billion this year alone. H2 expects this only to recover to the 2019 level by the end of 2022. So the COVID-19 pandemic continues to have a devastating impact on mainly land-based operations. Most notably, the casinos and amusement halls had to close down. Some of them are still not allowed to go open, and others in other countries, such as the Netherlands, are being forced to shut down partially again. And since the corona infections are on the rise again in the Netherlands, we are fearing for a lockdown again with closing operations. Also, the land lottery operations are severely impacted, driving lotteries to go online where they were not online so far. So we see this most notably happening in the United States. But also the online industry has been impacted severely by the standstill of sports. So sports betting was virtually impossible, apart from a few sports in Sweden, most notably. In many countries, the fear is that there will be more job losses as a result of the COVID-19 crisis over the last quarter of this year and well into next year. But before the perfect storm, if you will, before we were hit by this latest depression, it was already rough waters for the gambling industry. And basically, what I'm getting at is the fact that the gambling industry has a reputational issue due to the general bad reputation of gambling, and the fact that, I always say gambling has no friends, and especially no friends in politics. We are in a different, we are in a difficult period at this moment in time. So this is also due to the fact that, responsible gambling has become the bread and butter of regulated gambling industry rather late, I would say. Many incidents over the last few years have happened that further negatively impacted the reputation of the online gambling industry, such as the extremely high stakes at the fixed odd betting terminals in the UK, underage participation, which was not being dealt with forthwith. The high profile responsible gambling failings that have occurred, licenses that have been revoked, AML failings, even incumbent state lottery operators have been fined for misleading consumers. Match fixing is taking place predominantly in the unregulated markets by the unlicensed operators. But that has its effect on the total industry. And then there is the fly-by-night operators that spoil it for the licensed operators in regulated markets, at least in the public opinion. So add to this the rise of nationalism and populism in politics. It all makes it very, very difficult for the gambling industry to basically drive the agenda and to improve the reputation. And these political downturns also led to advertising bans and restrictions, bonus bans and restrictions, side betting bans and restrictions, and not too often it is not based on any factual information. Now, zooming from the world into Europe, let's say, even in very mature and successful online gambling markets, which I consider to be very calm and successful, undue restrictions are imposed. In Denmark, for instance, the gambling tax is going up to a staggering 28%, which gives gives to think. In the Netherlands, it's going to be 29%, but this is a sign of the times, really. And in the UK, the Betting and Gaming Act is under parliamentary review, with many restrictions already being discussed in parliamentary groups. So from the UK, it's easy to move to the neighboring country and also the home country of NOGA. So I'll be giving a bit more of an update on the industry in the Netherlands. We are going to be consulting on the lower regulations in the Netherlands. The government has indicated that they want to go through the trade association, so make sure that you become a member of trade associations such as NOGA. You can check out the website at www.no-ga.nl. Please do. We have a cooling off period of 32 months prior to application, and the verifiable age verification at registration, which you have to have in place since the 1st of January this year, will be strictly monitored at application. What NOGA will be bringing to the Netherlands is the online gambling barometer, the NOGA online gambling barometer, that will be taking temperature of the gambling market in the Netherlands. How are we doing? We will be doing this once a year, so this becomes a live barometer, and we will be researching the Dutch audience. So 1,000 people in a panel will be questioned around themes like online gambling advertising and the effects on consumers and youth in particular, the rate of channelization towards the regulated offer, and the legal duty of care and how operators are doing regarding this topic. And we will also be looking at responsible gambling and addiction prevention. We will be doing this with the help of Ipsos. They will independently of NOGA do the research and publish these figures to make this as independent as possible and as trusted as possible. But we do this to turn around the current situation in which we have to respond to policy rather than policy being based on facts and figures. So this is our gift to the Netherlands gambling market, our birthday gifts, if you will. It is not all storm. After the storm comes calmer weather. I'm afraid that we will have to go through some stormy waters in the coming months to years. But I'm convinced that we can work together with all the stakeholders and the government towards a well-regulated, safe, and attractive online gambling market in the Netherlands. And as a final note that I want to push out here is that NOGA will be pushing for an online gambling advertising code, self-regulation. The land-based operators currently are not really aligned yet as to what this code should be looking like and when it should be ready. We want this code to be ready before the market opens, so before the 1st of March next year. And we will be forming a coalition of the willing, of interested parties that want to discuss and draft this code together with NOGA and all interested parties to make sure that we have a working and effective system of self-regulation of online gambling advertising in the Netherlands. So in conclusion, the storm will die down at some stage. First, it will come tougher, but with the right intention and sincere operators putting player players and consumer protection first, we will be able to create a healthy, safe, and attractive online gambling market. Thank you very much for your attention, and have a great weekend.